got my pigtails on again. Crazy. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. So this is the last time I'm gonna be able to do this for like, how fucking long? If you're one of my fans who have been on Tumblr, on my Tumblr for like a while, these pigtails have become just as iconic as like that Justin Bieber haircut that I had before. Fucking, what the fuck is this? Why is this just chilling on the floor? Look at this. Does anybody remember these things? Stick bots? Why do I have this? Where'd this come from? It's not even the topic. I'm ranting on way too much here. So, let me just real quickly confess, I used to be a brony.
You become a bigger and bigger loser the longer I'm stuck in this basement with you.
I used to be obsessed with My Little Pony. And specifically Fluttershy, because I mean, I always found myself getting really, not like romantically attracted, but I was always drawn towards the really kind and nice and caring characters inside of movies and games and shows and whatnot. Because I didn't have anything like that in my real life, you know, my mom was too busy drugged out on the couch or some shit. I used to watch a bunch of content related to Fluttershy. I used to watch Vanamelon, and she used to make hundreds of videos of, like, Fluttershy plays this game, and Fluttershy plays that game, and I remember specifically watching all the Five Nights at Freddy's videos. My Little Pony and Five Nights at Freddy's had a really weird relationship. So obviously, being obsessed with this character, I got merchandise, and it was a Fluttershy plushie. I remember I used to play with it, and pretend it was a Five Nights at Freddy's animatronic, because like I said, there was this really weird overlap in fandoms with Five Nights at Freddy's and My Little Pony. I'm not gonna explain that. You can just, like, that was a weird-ass time. Actually, remember, I got the, I remember the exact, not the date, but I remember very vividly the memory of, like, going into a museum gift shop and asking my mom for the Fluttershy plushie, taking it, and, like, walking home. Not walking, we didn't walk home, but we walked a little bit, because we were in the city. Me and my mom used to go to the city a lot. I've always loved the city, even if she was always just there to purchase heroin. So, fast forward, like, a bit. I think it was 2016. I was 7 years old by that time. I got into My Little Pony when I was, like, 4, right? That was 2013. I got the plushie, and I kept it with me a lot up until around yeah, around that year. Every summer up until that point, and every summer for quite a while after that, I would go and visit my great-grandparents, my one great-grandmother, who I talked about in the last video, actually. You know, the one where I got stuck in the fucking towel aisle of Ollie's for around 30 minutes. I went to go and visit her, and she lived, like, around 3 hours away. I spent a lot of time at these docks, because she had a boat. Like, she had a house away from the boat, but she spent most of her time on the boat. And it was a nice boat, too. Like, it wasn't big, it wasn't a yacht, but it had a little cabin with, like, some seats and a TV and a bed. And I specifically remember the last time I went on that boat, I was, like, it was during, like, 2021, so I would have been, I was 12, and I specifically remember waking up in the morning, and I saw my great-grandfather, and he had a massive erection, and he was just in his underwear. That's the last thing I remember of being on that boat. Anyways, we're not talking about that, we're talking about the year of 2016. Yeah, 16, I was 7. I brought my Fluttershy plushie with me to her boat. There were a bunch of other boats on the docks, and then there was also the little area next to the dock, which was sort of like a park. It had a tiny mountain that you could climb up. There was a bench at the top, a parking lot. It was like a community of people. There was this one group of kids, and they were at least double digits, okay? They were at least 10 or 11. I don't know if they were in middle school, but I know they were older than me. And they saw me carrying around this Fluttershy plushie. I was walking around, I was at the top of the mountain. I was minding my own business. I wasn't doing anything to anyone. And this group of kids that's like at least 3-4 years older than me, I don't remember very much. I just remember them coming up and they were laughing at me for having a My Little Pony plush. And I was like, what's wrong with that? I like My Little Pony. Big deal. Fuck off. And then they started trying to fight me, and they took my fucking Fluttershy plushie, like, out of my hands, and ran away with it. I went to my great-grandmother, and this bitch, of course, being the great-grandmother that she is, tells me, don't snitch. People don't like snitches. Bitch, I'm 7! So then, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I go up to them. Okay, they're back at the top of the hill after I went down. Now, I understand a 7-year-old against, like, an 11-year-old does not sound like a fair fight. But I actually remember it going kind of decently well. Pretty much what happened was, I grabbed pine cones, and I snuck up on them. I just started throwing, like, lobbing pine cones at them. And I actually hit one of them, like, in the nose, and they got a nosebleed. And then they had to go down and, like, talk to, you know, they went down to snitch. And while they were down there snitching, I, like, went to fight this other kid, and I remember him getting a couple punches in, but then I kicked him really hard in the balls. And then I just left. Like, I just beat up these 2 kids and just ran away. I mean, they fucking deserved it, because you stole my shit. And then this kid comes back up the hill with an adult and his bloody nose. And the adult's like, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be fighting with them. Why would you give him a bloody nose? And then I try to explain. Actually, I didn't even explain that he stole the plushie from me, because I figured they weren't gonna listen, because I was already told, yeah, snitching is bad. Just put matters into your own hands. So I just kind of pass it off as, you know, we're just having some fun. That's it. Nothing else. And of course, they got mad. Blah, blah, blah. I wasn't allowed to use my tablet for the rest of the day. But that wasn't the end. Okay? Even after the punishment, I went back up to the top of the hill, and then they went up to the top of the hill as well to try and fight me again, because, you know, I kind of gave one a bloody nose and stopped the other one from ever having children. So I see them in the distance, walking up the stairs of the mountain. Like, I spot them in the corner of my eye, so I just slowly walk away and, like, sneak through the railing and climb down the little... I say it's a mountain. It was more like a hill. It was not a mountain. It was a hill. That's the word I'm looking for. Not mountain. I was not a fucking mountaineerer. That's not a word. I went to go hide in the boat for a little bit until later when I figured that they were gone. And I went back up to the top of the hill again. They weren't there. You know who was? Their sister. One of them. They weren't brothers, but there was one kid that had a sister. And this bitch comes up, grabs me by the... And she's like an older sister of theirs. She comes up, she grabs me, like, by my waist, picks me up, and spins me around as if that's gonna do anything. And then puts me back down. The fuck you think I am, a rotisserie chicken? What was that? It's not like she picked me up and threw me or something. She picked me up, spun me in circles, and then put me down. I think she was expecting me to be disoriented. I was just kind of confused. I'm realizing just how fake this story sounds. Like, oh yeah, when I was 7 years old, I got in a fight with a bunch of middle schoolers who took my Fluttershy plushie, and I gave one a bloody nose. I made the other one, infertile, and then I got dominated by their older sister. So I ran back down to the bottom of the mountain, and that time I just ran back to the boat, and I didn't talk to them once for the rest of the night. And I never did get my Fluttershy plushie back. Fast forward a few years later, I meet them again at the pool. Because they have a pool at that, like, dock where my great-grandparents resided. At that point, I had forgotten about the Fluttershy plushie that I had until I recognized him. I don't think he recognized me, though. I decided to go up to him and make his life a living hell. I was like, hi. He didn't recognize me, and he was with a friend. It wasn't the same friend, it was a different friend. I don't remember any of their names. It was probably something stupid like Cody. Let's hope that nobody named Cody is watching this. And I spend the entire time splashing him. Well, he's in the pool, right? I'm not even in the pool. I'm outside of the pool, and I just go splashing water in his face constantly, and he gets annoyed, and he swims away, and then I go to the other side of the pool, splash water in his face, he tries to grab me, but I just run away, and he's in the water, so he can't do anything. And then him and his friend decide to chill out in the middle of the water. So I finally hop into the pool, and go to splash water on him and his friend's face again, and he picks me up, and he just throws me away from him, and then starts, shoving my head under the water, trying to drown me. I don't think he was actually going to do that, because that would be a felony on his hands, and that would not be a good thing for him. It would be great for me. First of all, I'd get my justice, and I also wouldn't have to live. Yay! Great resolution. Fantastic ending to the story. He did threaten to stab me. He didn't have anything to stab me with. He said he was going to stab me with his nails. I don't know what nails are, though. I chew mine. And I guess that's it. I never really met this dude, again after that. I do remember arguing with him and being really annoying. I was talking to him and constantly rage-baiting him. It was telling me to go away, and I was just giving a bunch of smart-ass answers. I don't remember what I was saying. I probably wasn't actually as clever as I thought I was, but you can always just pretend you were. It's not like any of this was on camera anyways. No one can prove otherwise. That's the story of how I got into a fucking free-for-all fist fight with middle schoolers when I was 7 over a Fluttershy plushie. What a stupid fucking situation. Was all of that even worth it for anyone involved? I wonder what they did with the plushie, actually. Because, like I said, I never got it back. Did they just throw it in the water, or did they put it in a jar? That's exactly the kind of thing I would expect from people who are just starting to go through puberty. I swear, if they did the jar thing, I still want it back. I don't give a fuck. I will avenge my... I'm done. Goodbye.